Hey, it's Brian Burns, and welcome to this episode of Career Advice. Today, what I want to talk about is playing the game. Now, I hear this a lot from people in sales or even people in any type of career, in that they don't want to play the game. Now, they view working at a company as a game that they just don't want to play, that the game is a pejorative. And what I'm here to say is that you cannot not play the game, meaning that uh, your intent to ignore it doesn't mean it goes away. I think this is a lot like a great example would be personal branding. Now, whether you personal brand proactively or not at all, let's say you just don't even want to deal with it, you're still doing it. You're still not showing up. You're still an egg on Twitter or not existent, or an empty image on LinkedIn, and you're just not showing up. Now that's your personal brand. It doesn't mean you did anything. It just means that you're going to have to gain from the benefits or suffer from them, no matter what. And that's what working at a company is like, or working in general, or selling, or helping people out, or just being involved in life. Uh, I think a game can be viewed as a pejorative, but it can also be used as a very powerful analogy, meaning that you're playing no matter what. A game has a finite number of elements, and you have to break those elements into tiny little pieces and become good at those skills. Now, this makes it actually easier. So, and get away from the idea that you have to play a game and get more into, I want to win and define my game. I think that's much more powerful. I think you get much more out of that you are here to win your game. Now, you got to make sure that your game takes into effect or acknowledgement of all the other players, your manager, your customers, your owners of the business, all the other employees, the people you have to get along with to be successful at your game. So instead of looking at it as a bad thing, look at it as a good thing, a way of containing the complexity of a particular job, profession, or career, and breaking it down into small, manageable elements, elements that you can take advantage of, elements that you can learn from other people, instead of this big, vast thing called life or career. You break it down into what's important to your manager, how do you get evaluated, whatever job it is, what does it take to be good at it, who's good at it already, study them, read about them, watch them on YouTube, learn everything you can about them. Why are they good at it? Why do people think they're good at it? What evidence is there that they are good at it? And how do you replicate that and become better than them at it? That's what winning the game is. And there's this, you just have to quit thinking about the game is going to change so it works for you, and start going after redefining the game for you and make it work for you. Because the likelihood of other people changing is near zero. The likelihood of you changing is better than zero. So focus on you. You have control over you. You have control over what you spend your time on, what you think about, every action that you take, every reaction that you have. That's what you have control over. So focus on that. Understand the game, break it down, play it like a master instead of fighting it, because you're not going to win if you fight it. You may have some innate talent, but unfortunately, I don't. And unfortunately, most of the people I meet don't. So what you have to do is become good at something. And if you look at it as a game, and if that analogy works for you, it works for me, because I looked at sales as a game. And why? Because if you don't contain it, it's too complex. Like most things, especially life, because you got all these emotions and reactions and people's opinions, and they're all over the map. But if you break it down into the tiny little stages, and then what are the skills, strategies, techniques, that make up those strategies? And how do I get good at them? How do I practice them? How do I skip the ones that don't make sense? How do I really become great at this? That is the name of your game. So instead of fighting it, define it and win your game. That's all I have today. I really appreciate you listening. Please check out the show notes. I'm here at B2B Revenue. Connect up with me on LinkedIn. I really appreciate the people who do that. And if you visit me on LinkedIn and you see some of my content, I really appreciate you sharing it. I've got a lot of free stuff on LinkedIn, a lot of content there, as well as my blog on B2B Revenue. If you ever want to get into sales, there's a training course there, help you go from wherever you are to being into B2B sales, making 80K your first year. That's a good game. What do you say? Thanks for